Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host for the most, as always, Francois878, and in today's episode we're going to be reviewing the revamp, the redesign of Tyl Regor, the boss of the Uranus system, and what, my feelings towards it and what I think of it. And I'm pretty excited about it. I thought that when we got a glimpse of the new map, as well as a glimpse of what Tyl Regor's new character, new personality was going to be in the Tubemen of Regor event that was a few weeks ago, I was excited back then. I think Tyl Regor definitely has a very maniacal, mad scientist, but he has an interesting. The way he speaks is very interesting. He uses words in interesting and weird ways, and I just think his personality and the way he communicates is very interesting, and it's very it brings out a lot of his character. But the boss fight here at the end of the Uranus system is very. I like it. I think it's pretty cool and it's pretty interesting. I'm always a big fan of boss battles that have stages, have parts, that change over time. So this type of boss battle is right up my alley. Now I've heard a lot of people who say, "Oh, Tyl Regor was better when I could just shoot him in the face." Yeah, but he's also more boring. I feel like this is definitely, it's creative and interesting. And here you see, after a bit of the C Lab, the new level, you encounter a giant statue of Tyl Regor, and the boss fight starts. Now this first stage is pretty basic. He just teleports around like a crazy man and tries to slash you up with his Brunt, which does not work. And then he will slowly... then he stops, he becomes invincible, and will start to change the actual arena where you're at. And I think that's very interesting. I think that's a very cool kind of indicator of what's to come. And if Digital Extreme's plans with boss battles in the future is that they change the environment as the battle progresses, I'm a big fan of that. I think that's a really cool way to present boss fights, is when you don't know, or the environment changes around you as the fight kind of commences. It reminds me a lot of excuse me for my nerdiness, but it reminds me a lot of Dragon Ball Z, where they would fight and they would just the environment would be destructible, and it would change as the fight went on. But here, once you deal enough damage to Tyl Regor, he moves the first set of objects around, and he cracks the ceiling and lets some more water into the bottom of the chamber. And then he summons some of his manic Grineer to come and fight you for a little bit. Once you finish all of them off, he opens back up for more damage, and again, you just kill him. Frost is a great strategy here. He teleports all over the place. It's almost impossible. I tried a couple of times to use a Dread or any type of bow, really, or a sniper rifle. He's much more difficult if you try and do that. He's a lot like Void Vor, in that it's pretty tough to hit him with your single shot weapons. You're much better off grabbing a Soma or a Boltor or something that's a little quicker. Now this area up here, this catwalk, actually comes back in later, actually right here. This is the second stage of the fight. He cracks the ceiling and lets some more water in. Now this is one of the parts of this mission that I'm not a big fan of, is the final part of this fight, when he cracks that last part of the ceiling and the water rises, filling the bottom of where you started the fight off, and starts to electrify it. I didn't realize that the first time I fought him, that he was going to do that, and I had my new Chessa Kubro with me, and the Kubros aren't smart enough to climb onto the catwalk with you. They just stay in that bottom area and they die. So other than that, and it's a nitpicky issue, I love this. I think that the verticality of it is very cool. But for this third part, obviously he summons more Manics, both normal melee Manics and the Manic Bombards, which are a pain in the ass, and everyone generally hates, but they're the enemy, so of course you hate them. Another cool feature that those jets that you just saw are actually on this catwalk and the catwalk that was right in front of me there. They actually just kind of go off randomly, and they have a pretty good chance, if you're not paying attention, to blast you into the electrified pool that is now, where the fight started. And I thought that was a nice little touch. That means, you absolutely, you have to stay on top of things, not only, where the Manics are, where Tyl Regor is, but also, you have to be careful about where you're standing, where you're doing all that. Now, once, obviously, he summons his last wave of Manics, and then he opens up for damage the last time, and eventually, once you start dealing damage to him, he goes down. I really like this redesign. There are people who, are complaining about, oh, it takes too long, blah, blah, blah. I think this is a really cool boss battle. Honestly, I think his character is cool. I think the voice acting and his whole redesign that way is cool. And I think this boss battle definitely shows the potential for future boss battles, especially against the J3 Golem. Where we've heard we'll actually be going out in space in our arc wing during that actual boss fight. I think there's a lot of potential there for a really interesting boss fight, and if this is kind of the prelude to that kind of multi-stage boss fight, I'm all for it. I am absolutely on board with this. I'm backing anything that DE decides to do on this. But that's pretty much it. That's been my review of the new Tyl Regor fight, as well as the new C-Lab levels. Obviously, I love the C-Lab levels. Any new tile set in this game, as long as it's well done, I'm on board with. I think the same Grenier Galleon level over and over and over again is so boring, and to see these tile sets expanded upon after the event is also really cool too. I am such a big fan of DE's design choices as of late. But thank you guys very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Warframe content. I've been your host with the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.
Nowhere left to hide. Nowhere left to run. Die, lizard, leech, bloody worm. Come near me, and I'll pound you into a tiny cube.
Doors are locked. Time to break in. Override complete. Move on. Alarms successfully hacked. The location is returning to normal security levels.